Hi there, this is Luisa Heinzel. Welcome to this video. Today we are diving into the Fall March 2025 release by Sizzix and Tim Holtz to create a charming love you card. Get ready to be inspired as we layer inked, embossed and stamped backgrounds and delicate floral die cuts to craft a truly special card featuring a beautiful flower bouquet. Let's get started. So I'm starting here with two pieces of Distress watercolor cardstock by Tim Holtz and Ranger. Here you can see the measurements in inch and centimeters. This is really handy because it's already cut into the right size. Really cool. So as you can see, I have done some preparation work. I have embossed and die cut these papers. The embossing was done with the Diamonds embossing folder, and the die cutting was made with the Edges set. I think one of my new favorite sets. So then I'm taking some iced spruce distress spray because now I want to take these embossed pieces and give them a color so that we can later on layer these on top of each other. Alternated with the other both pieces. You will see that in a few minutes. While drying the spray, I have spritzed some water here so that I could get this really cool distressed effect. And then I'm using some iced spruce distress oxide spray here. Please excuse this weird spritzing. My bottle was a little bit clogged because it's already pretty old and the spray didn't want to come out from the bottle like I wanted it to come out. So I had a little bit of a struggle to get the spray moving around, but used some water and then this is also not such a problem. I wanted to have this variation of the oxidation and the not oxidized parts. Do you know what I mean? That's why I used iced spruce in both the spray stain and the oxide spray. While drying this with my heat tool, I again spritzed some water to, on the one hand, get these cool watercolory effects, and on the other hand, to get the oxidation as nice as possible. So then here I'm spritzing some water. Don't be confused. This looks gray because they are just mixing with the mediums which are still on my mat, but that doesn't matter. You can just use that a little bit dirty water to get some water splatters to your project. So then here I have decided for mustard seed spray stain and wild honey oxide spray, which in a second, in combination with iced spruce spray stain, will look like a moldy cheese. But I couldn't see that coming at this stage of the project. I have to admit, mustard seed is a new color in my stash, and I haven't swatched the spray stain yet. That was a big mistake because now, I'm trying to get this a little bit more, somehow dirty, and I have tried to use the the spray stain, iced spruce, to get a combination to the other pieces I have just made. But then when everything was dry, it looked like moldy cheese. And I thought, okay, color-wise, it would fit. But for this love you card, I thought it is not such a good idea when you send this card to a beloved person and it's associated with something like moldy cheese. That is not so good. So I decided to change my color palette, and I have added here some crackling campfire spray stain, and with the other colors underneath, it looks really cool. I think this is more like, like you want to say I love you to the person who gets the card. And I think this red also fits better to the blue, or this grayish blue, like this yellow we had before. So here I'm taking some tarnished brass distress paint because, well, how can I explain that? I wanted a love you card and I wanted this really romantic somehow, but elegant at the same time, and not so typically like a positive way of kitschy. Of course, you can make a love you card and you can take this idea and take, for example, red and white or red and pink or so, or only reds and pinks mixed together. That would look really, really cute as well, I would think. But I wanted this a little different, a little like, yeah, also a little bit from the past or so, because this how is the folder called, this diamonds folder, also looks a little bit very vintage in my eyes. So I thought with the gold it gives it a really nice accent, and gold always also says that something is important, and that is what you want to tell the person who gets the card. So here I am taking another little bit of the tarnished brass distress paint to get these cut edges gold. And while that is drying, we can go on with another piece of the watercolor cardstock and some pumice stone spray stain and some other colors in a second, because I want to color this paper here to then be able to die cut my flowers, which I then want to put on the card as well. Here I did exactly the same thing, but a little bit differently than on the other pieces, but spritzing, drying with water in combination is basically the same thing like I did with the layers for the card a second ago. But I wanted to have this a little bit more, how do you say that in English? Speckly, with these little like dots and all of these cool effects which the water can give you in combination with these mediums. So I put pretty much effort into layering the spray stains over each other. So this is again iced spruce spray stain, and I wanted to have this color in here as well to get a connection to the other, to the layers we have just made. Here I have spritzed the spray to my mat, then added a little bit of water, but I didn't went through the spray with my finger, so that these little drops are still on the mat and I can get all of these tiny little dots you can see on the card now. I wanted that exactly like that. And if you don't know that, this is the trick, or at least it is my trick, to get all of these little dots. And I think this is also a faster method to get these dots, because here I have not so crazily many layers, but I also at the same time already have a really, really detailed look for this paper. Then I have added some oxide spray. What color was this? Have you seen that? I think that was Lost Shadow, wasn't it? But that doesn't matter. You can just take a little bit of gray. For example, pumice stone would also work for this, to get the colors a little bit muted, but still have these tiny details. So here you can see the flowers already cut out. They are cut from the set which is called Flourish. Yeah, and here you can see me struggling a little bit with the different combinations of the different pieces. What I like to do is I don't look at the package when I use something like this for the first time, or also when I use it for the second, third, and so on time. But I like to let these shapes speak to me. I like to let them tell me how they want to be arranged, meaning this layering of the single flowers, I usually don't do that like it's shown on the package. That gives me more freedom for my arrangement. That doesn't mean that I don't like the arrangement on the package. Yeah, I like these die cuts. Otherwise, you wouldn't see them here on my channel. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in my craft room. But I like to make my own little arrangements. And that's what you can see me trying here. And I say trying because I realized here that this, yeah, let's say one color I had before from this paper I just made was not enough to give me contrast and to give me this elegance of the gold in the flowers as well. That is why I have quickly painted another piece of paper with the tarnished brass distress paint, which I already used, you know, for the layers. And then suddenly this light bulb moment was there, because then I thought, okay, now we have a connection with the gold to the embossed paper. We have a connection with the iced spruce to the embossed paper. And this other color with the crackling campfire and mustard seed and wild honey is this contrast, which is like, you know, matching color-wise, but it's something totally different. And that was where I thought, okay, this could work. But then the next struggle was there, and I have sped up the video here a little bit so that you don't have to wait until Christmas 2028 or so, because as you can see, I tried different combinations for this arrangement, and I wasn't satisfied with the position of these flowers. I really liked the gold and this bluish grayish color, but I couldn't find the right position for these flowers, because originally I thought I want to make an irregular triangle with the flowers. But then here I came to my final solution to put all of the flowers into one row nearly in the middle of these layers. And that was where, for me, the fun started, because, arranging this and finding the right position for these things is really, really much fun. If you have never done something like this, I can only recommend try that out. Just buy a set of die cuts, yeah, if you don't have one, and try that out, because that is so much fun and it is really, really relaxing. Even if you struggle perhaps in the beginning with an arrangement or so, in the most cases, the solution comes by itself somehow. That's at least the experience I have made with these kind of things. On this red-orange paper, I am also stamping a little bit, because I thought it could be a good idea if there's a little bit of stamping behind the flowers, but really subtle in the background. And then I've cut another piece of watercolor cardstock to now glue these pieces down in this layered look you can see laying on the left. And here I have paid attention that I put my glue on the left, the top and the right of this piece, and a little bit in the middle, but not totally to the bottom edge of the piece, because I need the possibility to put this under each other. And in a second, I also need these spaces between the layers to put my flowers in there. And that is, on the one hand, a technical reason somehow to construct the card. But on the other hand, it's also, somehow part of the design, because I like when layers give this natural shadow. And that only, of course, happens if you don't glue them down completely. As you can see, I have also taken a photo of my flower arrangement, which I have on my phone here next to me, so that I can clearly see what I'm doing here and that I can remember the position of each of the flowers. But I also have to say, there was this point where I have put my phone away. When I had these first layers on there, I didn't need this photo anymore, because I thought I just want to play around here and don't follow my photos so extremely, but just, glue the flowers down there where I want them. I also shaped them a little bit with this little dotting tool and this mat where you can press into the flower, and then, you get it a little bit dimensional. And then I have also used some moss instead of foam tape, because once I had shaped these flowers, they are, of course, a little bit dimensional, and they have a distance to the base of the card, so that I would have needed something like, foam tape or so underneath to make them sturdy for shipping, because this I am shipping to Sizzix so that they can then have that. Shipping, that is always a problem with these dimensional things. But I thought it would look great when we have a little bit of a darker contrast and another material in between of the flowers than just the paper. And this moss gives me the possibility to have this really dimensional and sturdy. Here you could see me freaking out for a moment, because while I have glued these pieces, I had a little glue oopsie. Well, it was, to be honest, a little bit bigger glue oopsie, because I didn't pay enough attention to which glue I use, and to the fact that when I use my glue on oxide ink and I get glue to the area which is shown, then the color will change. And that is exactly what happened there. But I would consider this a happy accident, because that brought me to the idea to use this craft paper, which you can see on the left. I've already cut out some flowers there, and I have added them to the bouquet as well. And I have also taken 3 of the snippets, what is the name of the set? Curator, I guess, from Ideology, to get a little bit of something in between of this bouquet. And I think that gives it this final detail somehow, which I really, really love. And this neutral color of this craft paper also fits really well to my letters, which I add here, where it says then love you. These letters come from the Etches set as well. And I really love this font. I really love the size of these letters. I mean, look, this is just amazing. I mean, this is a pretty big card, yes, but this bouquet also needs a little bit more space somehow. And then the size of this font is just perfect. So here I am making another layer for the card, which shall be gold. So I have taken the tarnished brass again and just painted around this little thing there. So, you know, only the area which will be shown in the end. I have glued that to a piece of craft stock, which is a little bit bigger than the golden layer. You can see I've just used double-sided tape. I think that is the best way, if you have a really strong and good tape, to layer those cards, or to attach the single layers of a card to each other, because when you use wet glue, then it can happen that the card gets wavy, and who wants that? So with this, it's really fast and the card stays really flat. So then, last but not least, I have taken some scorched timber distress paint, and this area there, it scared me a lot because when I splattered to it, I also wanted the tiniest splatters, just the fewest, I don't think that is English, but you know, a few splatters on the white as well. But that was really scary because it was in the end of this process. So yeah, that's it. See you the next time. Bye bye.